Hi everyone, it's Jo Giffords here, and this is episode 23 of Work Smarter, Dream Bigger, Live Brighter. And today we're going to be talking all about what to do when it all feels useless as a solopreneur. And I'm sure this is something that many of you will have been through, will have experienced. I know certainly that I have. And so it's part of the entrepreneurial journey, which I wanted to just sort of dive into this morning. And actually what I've done today is this is my first ever time of recording the podcast as a Google Hangout. So I'm doing a live Google Hangout on air to record the podcast on a Monday morning. I record every Monday morning. And so this morning I'm sharing that broadcast to welcome, comments and feedback, and just as a kind of experiment, we've got to try this stuff. So what to do when it all feels a bit useless? Now, not so long ago, folks, in fact, probably about a year ago, just before my business kind of exploded to the next level, I really had this feeling an awful lot, that feeling where everything's useless. It feels like everyone is doing so much better than you. You feel like you'll never get there. And it's something which I know lots of my community feel, and I'm sure lots of you guys out there on your entrepreneurial journey will either have felt or might be feeling right now. And, that feeling can really hold you back, but it's also one to embrace and to learn, how to move forward with it, how to, learn what to do so that next time that rocks up, you can deal with it. So first of all, let's look at reasons why you might be feeling useless as an entrepreneur. One of the first things is the comparison trap. And I just mentioned earlier, we look at other people and we're thinking, oh, it's fine for them, they're doing so well, or how come she can do it and I haven't done it yet. And that comparison trap is negative for a couple of reasons. I have got my Hangout playing a different window. I think I'm just trying to work out what's happening. Oh, I had it. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to edit that out of the podcast, but I had my YouTube window open. How funny, learning curve. So yes, so one of the first things that you might be feeling useless as an entrepreneur is because you're using that comparison trap. You're comparing yourself to other people and you're saying, why can she do it and I haven't yet? How come it's possible for him, her, for them, for whatever? And, that's negative for a few reasons. That's negative because you're projecting a vision of what that person, that company, that, of that brand is experiencing when you don't know the full details of what they've done to build their business, of how they've got there and all that sort of stuff. It also reflects on you in that you don't believe that you can get there, and mindset is just so much of a part of our journey as an entrepreneur that to try and keep yourself believing that you can do it is part of the battle, and it's a really huge part of it. And I'm not saying that every day you're going to wake up and be like full of zing and knowing that you've got it in the bag and it's all going to be awesome and you can totally do this. Because we're humans, and it's important to remember that part of the human experience is that sometimes we can just feel a bit crap about stuff. And, especially as a solopreneur, if you're being really visible all the time, if you're putting yourself out there, you're hustling, you're creating products, you're, putting yourself on the line in a really kind of public way. If you feel, or you perceive rejection or failure, that can be really tough. And it can be such a personal feeling, such a personal sort of feedback. And it's something that you can really take to heart. So the comparison trap is one thing that can make you feel useless. So try and stay out of that kind of mindset where you're comparing yourself to other people. Another reason is tiredness. pure and simple, guys. As entrepreneurs, we're running our own businesses, and often, our brains don't switch off. We're kind of in it all the time, aren't we? We're kind of, brainstorming, we're thinking about things, we're doing all the stuff behind the scenes, we're doing the podcasts, we're doing the blogs, we're doing the content creation, we're doing the marketing, we're doing the admin, the emails. Often, until you've built your team, particularly, you're doing a lot of it yourself. So tiredness is really, really common, because not only are you doing the actual work, the actual sort of client work, or the building your stuff behind the scenes, but you're doing the rest of it as well. And tiredness can really make you feel as if everything's going a bit wrong. And I am terrible for this one. Quite often I'll just reach a stage, and in fact, I'll be honest, guys, it happened at the weekend, where I'm just like crying and thinking, what's going on? I have a real pity party for one, and I'm really kind of wondering what's going on. What should I do? Should I sort of go back to having a proper job? God forbid, all this kind of stuff. And actually, it's usually just tiredness, and if I go and have a little chill for a while, I'm fine. So you need to take yourself out of that zone of feeling really ground down, of feeling like you're grinding in your business, like you haven't got enough time for anything else, because you need to have a balanced life, a balanced space away from your business in order to be as awesome in it as you need to be. And also, most of us have become solopreneurs and entrepreneurs because we want to have a better work-life balance, and I'm sure lots of you guys have as well. We want to have a better relationship between life away from work, life at work, because actually, usually, if it's our own business, it's something that we love to do. It's something that we really just can't get enough of. And, it's, especially if you're doing it right, you're sharing your personal gifts with the world. And that's something that, you love doing. But, so we want to keep that balance, want to keep that mindfulness going on about, have I had enough space away from the screen? Have I had enough space, with other human beings? And this is something that we've been talking about a lot in the Brilliance Ignition, mastermind, which is a free mastermind, and you can find it on dexterousdiva.co.uk/brilliance. And there's an option to upgrade, to get all the printables, to get more bonus audio, video, all that kind of stuff. But it's a free 4-week mastermind all about creating your, igniting your brilliance and using creative thinking in business. And part of a huge part of the creative process in business is to enable the space to happen. So you need to have space for your ideas. You need to step away from the noise to be able to let your genius shine through. And sometimes if you're just feeling overwhelmed and tiredness, it's that you're in it too much. You need to get out. And that can mean an hour away, from the screen, away from the noise. Be brave and maybe take a couple of days away from social media, see how you feel about that. Maybe you could even outsource if you're at the stage yet where you have a VA or someone to help you, maybe an intern. Maybe you can outsource your inbox for a few days, get used to not having your emails flowing into you, get used to stepping away from social media just a bit. And I promise you guys, the world will not fall in, it will all be fine. And, just to find that space really helps you kind of tune in to yourself and what you really want to be doing. It kind of keeps you back on track. It also works as part of the creative thinking process. So, we have that space for what we call illumination, those eureka moments. And I'm sure you guys have noticed, if you're ever in the shower or in the bath, or maybe you're out to have a run, you're kind of switched off from everything. That's when your best moments happen. That's when your ideas often rock up. And so you can actually help that process by building in space, and part of that is to listen to your body, listen to your mindset. If your negative talk is occurring a lot more often, if you're really feeling as if you just can't cope, it's all feeling too much, step back a little bit. It often doesn't take as long as you think, because usually when you're in that zone, you feel as if you're so busy and you can't possibly step away, because what's going to happen, well, actually, you're not working effectively if you are in that zone. And I'm telling myself, as well as as well as you guys, and because I still reach that stage, and as my business grows and grows, there'll be more learning curves to have. And I know that people above me who've been doing this more, longer than me, still have that stage, and it's something that you learn. And say a year ago, I was having this feeling, this zone, probably every week. I'd feel completely useless. Everything's rubbish. I'm never going to get there. Then as I learned to kind of work with that feeling, to know that things are getting better, to know that, I've been working really hard and actually I've just got to take a break. I know now that that is part of the journey. So now when it happens, I can usually turn it around fairly quickly. And here's what I do. So I usually step away. I'll grab a rest. I'll watch a film. I'll go and have a walk. I'll do some artwork. I'll just chill, perhaps watch something awful on TV, on Netflix. Often if I'm feeling really in that negative mindset or comparison trap, I'll use EFT, and which is emotional freedom and technique. And for those of you who don't know it, it's a great one to look up. And, I know that Denise Dufford-Thomas is a great fan of this, and I'm part of her Lucky Bitch Bootcamp. And you can check that out on my affiliate link, which is dexterousdiva.co.uk/lucky bitch. And she goes through a lot of the benefits of using emotional freedom technique to sort of get rid of your mindset blocks, of your money blocks around success. Because also a lot of the reasons why we have mindset blocks and money blocks is because often we're reaching a new level of success and of visibility. I know myself, whenever I reach a new level, perhaps I've just gained a whole new audience, perhaps I'm launching a new product, perhaps I've just become even more visible and it's feeling a little bit uncomfortable. That next level can bring with it what we call the upper limit problems. And I would urge you to read The Big Leap by the amazing Gay Hendricks. So The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And Gay Hendricks talks about the upper limit problem. It's almost as if energetically all your system has been programmed to allow you to reach a certain level of success. And when you reach that, you're really stretching yourself and you perhaps don't believe the next level is possible. You've reached your own glass ceiling. And so to move beyond that, you've got to sort of change your mindset, allow yourself to believe that you can go, sort of further. And upper limit problems can manifest as all sorts of things, as tiredness, as overwhelm, as illness, all sorts of things. So often this kind of feeling that you're completely useless can really just be part of growth. It's part of reaching your next level of success. And so oftentimes it's an indicator that you're doing really well. So it's worth bringing that into the mix. So I'm just going to see if we have any comments from people watching the Hangout at the moment. Okay, so I've got my group chat comments box on, so feel free to leave any comments. I know that I'm recording quite early on a Monday morning, so a lot of people in my audience are in US time. So guys, do feel free to leave a comment in the box and I can respond to it. Okay, so let's also think about, okay, what can we do when it all feels completely useless? Well, as you would imagine, I wrote a blog post on it a while ago. And this one, I think, really hits some chords with lots of people. So we've talked about finding some space, stepping away from the noise, finding, some space to be creative and to be brilliant and to just step back. And a lot of it is just not having judgment. So I say find some space to be brilliant, but that can immediately make you feel like, oh, I need to go away and be amazing. You don't. You just need to be. You just need to hide away from the screen, from social media, from expectations, from your own mind, for like a little while, and just let yourself be you. And this is one thing that I talk about in my blog post, which I'll leave in the show notes below, is that sometimes you just need to reconnect with people who have no idea what you do in this online world, in this business world, people who don't care what you do, who don't care whether your launch has been successful or whether you've had X amount of open rates or whether your funnel's working properly. Just people who love you for who you are. And that to me means, connecting with my kids, particularly with the mini divas. They don't care whether my launch has worked or not. They just care that I'm mummy and that I'm, hanging out with them. I can connect with my friends, friends who don't know anything about my business or kind of know about it, but don't really mind and have known me for years and years and know who Jo really is. That is really important to me. It's really grounding. And so who can you sort of be with and connect with and hang out with, who loves you unconditionally, for who you are, whether or not you've made 6 figures in a month, like who can you hang out with that can just boost you for being you? So refine your flow, find some space, reconnect with your brilliance. look back and see how far you've come. This is a really important point. Often we're looking forward all the time, which is great because we're manifesting, we're visualizing, we're, working towards something. But look back and see how far you've come. And when I did this just the other week, I was having a moment, and I spoke to, to my mastermind buddy and my good friend, Tara Newman, and you guys must check her out. We were talking, and she was like, Jo, you've 10 times your business, you've 10x'd your business in a year. So, oh yeah, that's actually really good. And Tara really had to show me that, this time last year, I would have really been envious of myself right now. My audience has grown 10 times, my sales have grown 10 times, literally everything has grown 10 times. And because I'm still looking to the future, I kind of couldn't see that. And so it's important to look back, see how far you've come, go through your notebooks from last year, maybe look at your goals from the years before and realize that you've actually come such a long way. And also remember that experience is vital and you just can't hack it. And this is a post that I wrote as well about, experience can't be hacked. You can't hack all those feelings, all those growth spurts personally and in business that you have as an entrepreneur. You can't fast forward those really. You can learn from others, you can have coaching, you can have mentors, you can fast forward by taking on board learning and investing in yourself. But part of the journey is that your journey is bespoke to you, it's unique, and you just kind of can't fast forward it. Remember that everyone else starts from somewhere as well. So all the people who you admire, Marie Forleo, and Danielle Laporte, and Jonathan Fields, Denise DT, anybody who is an awesome entrepreneur who you really love, they've started from somewhere. They've started off with a rubbish website. They've started off with no audience. They've started off not knowing how to do this stuff as well. Everybody starts from somewhere. And in my blog post about, what to do when you feel useless as an entrepreneur, I include a link to the post where I actually show you how awful their websites were when they started out. And I will put that in the show notes as well, because actually everyone really has to start from somewhere. So you are on your part of the journey and you can't compare your middle to someone else's end or to someone else's further on down the line. It just doesn't work. So we talked about EFT as being something that can really help move along those feelings of failure, and a great person to turn to for EFT, as well as Denise Duffield Thomas in her Lucky Bitch Bootcamp, is Brad Yates. And if you Google Brad Yates or look him up on YouTube, he has got so many scripts about tapping and clearing and unblocking negative thoughts around money, around success, around business. So have a look at Brad Yates and he'll provide you with some scripts. The other thing is, so we've grounded ourselves with people who love us unconditionally. We've sort of taken some time out, we've tapped it out, we've gone to be creative, we've made some space, also connect with people who do get it, who really understand, who really know what you're working on. So build a little posse around you, which we talk in the Brilliance Ignition Mastermind as being, your sort of cluster of people, who totally understand what you're up to. And this might look like a mastermind buddy or two. It might be in your Facebook communities. It might be in kind of offline sort of networking things. It might be some people who you talk to online. Whatever it is, people who know what you do. If it should be your coach probably and your mentor. Having these people as part of your team who really know what you're about and can help you move on is really, really important. So as well as finding space with people who don't know what you do, find space with people who are on your side, who really want to champion you, because they can be the ones to kick you up the butt and to make things work a bit faster. Another really handy thing to do is to store your love letters and your testimonials from clients and from your audience. And I have a couple of ways of doing this. I tend to paste any lovely comments and words of appreciation and thanks, either when people hit reply from a newsletter or they thank me for a program or for a one-to-one session or something. I store those emails in Evernote, which makes it really easy just to sort of dive in. If I'm feeling really, really crappy and I feel like I'm all completely useless and nothing's working, I can dive in and see that, oh, you know, sort of so-and-so said last week that my hour session with them helped them unbelievably, and, you know, they're moving forward in their business, and I can really feel like, oh, okay, that's great. You know, I do know my stuff. Or maybe somebody, you know, from Blogging for Business Bootcamp has been writing about how their audience has doubled and their sales are coming in, and they've actually built a whole business, you know, using their blog, and I'll know that I've made a difference. So store all your testimonials and your glowing messages of thanks in Evernote or somewhere similar. I also have a jar of awesome in which I write down, you know, things which I'm really proud of, really pleased with, any quotes that, you know, people have sent to me, and I kind of fold it up in the jar, and I can dip into it if I feel really, really rubbish. So I would love to hear how you guys feel. You know, I would love to hear how you have dealt with, you know, feeling useless as an entrepreneur. Have you got any strategies to get over that awful feeling? Have you sort of discovered ways of coping with it? So there's all sorts of ways that you can get your comments to me. You can either email me, hello@dexterousdiva.co.uk. You can tweet me at dexdiva. You can leave me a comment below this podcast, or indeed you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/dexdiva. You can also, on my website, if you go to dexterousdiva.co.uk, in the right hand side you will see there's a little icon which says leave me a voicemail, and you can go ahead and do just that, and I will give you a shout out next week on the podcast with some comments. If you leave me a voicemail, it comes straight to my inbox, and I can pick it up and hear what you thought of the episode. If you tweet me at dexdiva with hashtag episode 23, I'll know which episode you're talking about, and I would love to hear how you get on when you feel useless as an entrepreneur. What do you do? Have you applied any of the strategies that I've been talking about here? You know, how do you make it work for you in your business? So up until next time, I record a podcast every Monday, and it drops live. It drops every Friday on iTunes, on Stitcher Radio, and on my site. So you'll be able to listen to that then. But of course, if you've been part of the Hangout right now, you've seen it already. All right, guys. So until next week, have an awesome day and stay brilliant. Thank you.